everyone and welcome to Bookmas Day
6.
Today I'm going to be giving you some book recommendations that I think you should put on your winter TBR, or if you're looking for perfect winter books to add onto your winter TBR. And then near the end I'm going to be telling you the books that I am putting on my winter TBR as well. So let's just get right into it. So the first book we have is Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. This is the first book in a series, but I feel like the first book is more perfect for winter, not only because, well, the cover is blue, it just fits the theme quite well, but also what the book is about. So this follows Winslow, who is the new chief of police in the town Quincy, and then it also follows Griffin, who is the eldest son of the Eden family, who in Quincy is known as like the high-end type of family. Then Winslow and Griffin end up having a one-night stand, but then they are forced to work together when a murder occurs on the Eden property. And I really like this book because it has like the romance element, the small town element, but then there is also like a murder mystery type thing as well. And I feel like you don't get like the murder mystery subplot in romances that often, and it was like really interesting and it kept you on your toes because the main part of it was the romance, but then it had that little like mystery and you wanting to know what happened as well. So I'd highly recommend this if you are a fan of romance and mystery. Next, I would recommend Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Now this was very popular a few years ago, so you've possibly already read it, but I would recommend this for winter because this is about Anastasia, who is a figure skater, and they are forced to share a rink because of some issues that end up happening. That's all I'm going to say without spoiling too much, but this is an enemies to lovers, so obviously, and kind of forced proximity really, because they are having to work together but obviously not liking each other type thing. Then we have One Dark Window. Now this one does kind of give more fall vibes to me personally, but then it also kind of gives winter vibes as well. It's like a good mixture of the two, I would say. So if you didn't end up reading this in the fall, well, now is your time. I feel like you could still read it. So this follows Elspeth, I think that's how you pronounce the name, sorry if I got that wrong. And she secretly harbours a spirit called the Nightmare, and she must team up with a hideaway man to find 12 magical Providence cards to save her kingdom. And I like this one because you follow Elspeth, who is finding something new about herself, and you follow her growth and trying to figure out herself and trying to figure out how to save her whole kingdom, because that's kind of like her responsibility in this. I'd definitely say if you are looking for like a strong female character, then this book will be for you. Then we have Winter Upon a Broken Heart, and I don't know why, but this just screams winter vibes to me. It can also kind of scream fall vibes. Follows, I always struggle to say her name, Evangeline, I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. She ends up making a dangerous bargain with the Prince of Hearts, Jack, to prevent the love of her life from marrying her stepsister. And the Prince of Hearts basically tells Evangeline, I think that's how you say it, that he will help her if she gives him 3 kisses that is given to him at a time and place that he chooses. Then we have Powerless, and again this is kind of giving like fall but winter vibes. So this is about Payden, who is classed as an ordinary in the kingdom Elia, I think that's how you say it, which is a society where the elite possesses a power gifted by the plague. In the kingdom, being an ordinary is classed as a crime, so she ends up basically pretending that she is an elite to fit in and to survive. She ends up eventually saving one of the main elite, Kai. Then she's forced into the brutal purging trials. Then we're going to switch up from the fantasy a bit and we're going to go to a mystery thriller. We have The Crash by Frida McFadden. I would highly recommend pretty much all Frida McFadden's books for a good like winter read, just saying, but I chose this one specifically because it gives off winter vibes as it's kind of set in like a snowstorm. So this follows a pregnant woman named Tegan who ends up crashing her car in a blizzard and is taken by a couple who lives in a remote cabin. And it isn't until she is inside that she realizes she is in danger and not everything seems the way it is. Then we have Before I Let Go, and this one is quite a popular book as well. I don't know why this one gives winter vibes, it kind of just does to me personally, but this follows Yasmin and Zaya, who ends up divorcing. And the book follows them having to navigate their connection 2 years after their divorce. They also have kids, so they also are kind of having to figure out the co-parenting life as well as kind of still having feelings for each other type thing. But this book does explore grief, healing and second chances. So if those are some things that can be quite triggering to you, I would go into it with like knowing that. Then we have For the Fans. Now if you are into something more on the spicier side, then this one will be for you. This one gives off winter vibes. I don't know why, maybe it's the cover, I'm not sure, but if you are looking for something, like I said, on the spicier side to add on to your winter TBR, if that's for you, then this will be the book. But this is about two stepbrothers, Tyron and Avi, I think that's how you say his name, who hate each other from the get-go. As soon as they meet, they don't like each other, and they kind of agree that they're going to live their separate lives. They're going to try and stay away from each other as much as they can. They don't want anything to do with each other. But then their family end up having a crisis, so they now have to find a way how they can earn money on their own. So they end up starting an OF account together. So I'm going to leave it there, but it does follow many different types of themes of like self-acceptance, trauma, all that stuff. It is kind of like on the deeper side of a read as well, so I would go into it also knowing that. Then we have Dance of Thieves. We're going back to the fantasy. Again, this kind of gives off fall vibes, but then it also kind of gives off winter vibes. I feel like with fantasy it can go either fall or winter, in my opinion. But this follows a reformed thief, Kazi, I think that's how you say it, who is sent on a secret mission to find a war criminal hiding in the outlaw kingdom of the Ballingers. Her mission becomes complicated when she bumps into the new Ballinger leader, Chase, which then leads to like an enemies to lovers type thing. Then we have The Nightingale. Now this book is definitely on the deeper side. It is very heartbreaking and sad to read because it is based off the World War II. But this follows two sisters. So it follows Vianne, who is forced to host a German soldier, and she must make difficult choices to protect her family. And then it also follows her younger sister, Isabel, who is rebellious and ends up joining the French resistance. So this follows like their different paths and how they are having to survive. And it shows the courage that they both show while they are having to go through the dangers of the occupation. Okay, so now we are going to move on to my winter TBR. I feel like I have quite a big winter TBR, but I'm not gonna like put pressure on myself to like finish them all. But these are ones that just give like winter vibes, or I've been wanting to read for a while. Mostly both. So first off, we have The Intruder by Frida McFadden. This is Frida McFadden's like newest release, and I'm like really intrigued by it. I love Frida McFadden's books, and like I said, Frida McFadden kind of just gives off winter vibes to me anyway. But this apparently follows Cassie, who is trapped in a remote cabin during a hurricane when she discovers a blood-covered young girl with a knife outside of her window. I mean, that sounds good. Then we have Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. This one I need to read because it's on my anticipated releases list for this year, so I am going to be getting to it soon because I do have like a video planned for that and stuff. So I am going to get to it, but also it is the third book in a series and I would like to finish the series. Also, I just love Lauren Asher's books, but this apparently follows Lily and Lorenzo, who decides to fake date. And apparently they have a complicated history from a previous online dating app connection, and they must pretend to be a couple for 5 months to save Lily's business from a threat posed by Lorenzo's campaign. While faking their relationship in public, they start to fall for each other in private, threatening the terms of their deal. Got to love a fake dating scheme. Then we have Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. Now, Lisa Jewell is definitely a hit or miss author for me, but this one definitely gives off like winter vibes to me, and I'm intrigued because this apparently follows 3 women, Nina, her daughter Ash, and florist Martha, and their lives are connected by one man, Nick, who is leading a double life. That grabs my attention straight away. Then we have Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. If you've been hit with me from the beginning of the year, you know that I read a lot of B.A. Paris at the beginning of the year. I don't know why. I was just kind of like wanting to read all of B.A. Paris's books. I didn't get to Behind Closed Doors though, so I would like to get to this one. Apparently this is about Jack and Grace, who appeared to have a perfect marriage, but Grace is actually a prisoner in her own home, controlled by her abusive husband Jack. So that is like, that grabs my attention, you know. I want to know what happens, like how's it gonna end type thing. Then we have One by One by Ruth Ware. Now this one I have been wanting to read for a while. I did borrow it from the library sometime this year and like I didn't get to it, but this is apparently about employees of a music app called Snoop gather at a luxury ski chalet for a corporate retreat when a sudden avalanche cuts them off from the outside world. Tension rises and a murder occurs. As the group is stranded and a killer is among them, they are picked off one by one. The winter vibes because it is set with like them being stuck at a ski thing and like an avalanche, you know, like that just gives off winter vibes. But then also with like the mystery ends of it, it seems exciting. Then we have Beartown by Frederick Backman, and oh my goodness, the amount of times I've heard about this book and the amount of times I've heard good things about this book. This book is raved about quite a lot, and I've never read a Frederick Backman book before, so I am really intrigued. But apparently this is about a struggling Swedish town that places all its hopes on its junior ice hockey team winning the national semi-finals to save their community. And then it goes on to say that stuff bad happens, and it all depends on like how the community is going to act. Are they going to be loyal about this, all that stuff. So, and then we have A Man Called Ove, also by Frederick Backman, and apparently this is about a grumpy widowed man named Ove whose solitary routine driven life is turned upside down when a young family moves in next door. His world, which he finds full of incompetent people, is initially disrupted by their chaotic arrival, but he begrudgingly finds a new sense of purpose and connection through their interactions, which just sounds lovely. And again, this book has been talked about so much. I see it everywhere, and again it's always a good review, so I really want to get into a Frederick Backman book. I don't know what I'm going to start off with. Then we have The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and I have only read one Kristen Hanna book before, but I have heard a lot of amazing things about all the others, and The Nightingale I did really enjoy. So this apparently follows the Albright family's move to remote Alaska in 1974 following Errant Albright, a Vietnam veteran struggling with PTSD, and the story is told from the perspective of his teenage daughter Lenny as her family faces both the challenges of surviving the brutal Alaskan wilderness and the escalating domestic abuse from her father. Wow, okay, so yeah, this definitely is going to be a dark read, but I'm not shocked because it is Kristen Hanna. Then we have Winter Garden, which is also from Kristen Hanna, and again this is quite explanatory given the winter vibes, but apparently this is about two estranged sisters, Meredith and Nina, who must reunite to care for their dying father and their cold, distant mother, Anya, I think that's how you say it. After their father's death, Anya begins telling them a fairy tale about her life in war-torn Leningrad, which is actually a harrowing and true story about her past and a secret love. And then finally on my winter TBR we have Throne of the Fallen, and this is apparently about Camilla, who is forced into a devil's bargain. They must work together to navigate a dangerous game and journey through the underworld to save Envy's court. Those are the books on my winter TBR. Like I said, I do feel like I have quite a lot, but I also feel like I could probably get to them all, if not majority of them. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave this emoji if you're watching to the end, and I hope to see you on my next one. Bye!